Imagine a lost civilization, a gleaming metropolis of advanced technology and blissful lives, the legendary Atlantis. Tales speak of its sudden, inexplicable disappearance, swallowed by the ocean's depths. For centuries, treasure hunters and dreamers have searched the Atlantic, convinced its ruins lie beneath the waves. But what if the search has been in vain? What if Atlantis wasn't where we thought it was? Picture this: Atlantis, not submerged in the Atlantic, but nestled in the heart of the Sahara Desert. A seemingly impossible theory, yet one with intriguing threads of evidence. To understand this radical idea, we must first delve into the myth of Atlantis itself. Our primary source, the ancient philosopher Plato, writing in 360 BCE. In his dialogues, he describes Atlantis as a land of immense wealth and breathtaking technological advancement. The Atlanteans, he claimed, were a race of powerful, intelligent, and strikingly beautiful beings, almost superhuman. Plato meticulously detailed the city's design, fueling the belief in its reality for generations. According to Plato, the Atlanteans constructed their city as a series of concentric circles using black and red stone. These circles were then adorned with brass, tin, and shimmering precious metals. The city was crisscrossed with navigable waterways, allowing ships to sail freely. These Atlanteans were master seafarers, engineering a passage connecting their city to the vast ocean. Now consider this. Search online for images of Atlantis based on Plato's descriptions. Then compare those images to an aerial photograph of the Eye of the Sahara, a geological formation in Mauritania. The resemblance is striking. The Eye of the Sahara presents a series of concentric circles etched into the desert landscape. Could this be the ghostly imprint of a lost city, destroyed and buried by the sands of time? Once, the Sahara wasn't a desert at all. Millennia ago, this region teemed with rivers and lakes, a lush and fertile paradise. Everything aligns, at least superficially. The Eye of the Sahara was first brought to the world's attention in the 1930s. Initially, it was believed to be the impact crater of a massive meteorite. However, in the mid-20th century, scientists analyzed the soil and dismissed the space rock theory. They concluded it was a dome of molten rock where magma raged beneath the surface for eons. Relentless wind and water erosion sculpted the landscape, creating the perfect circular patterns we see today. But consider this alternative. What if the Atlanteans arrived at this location long ago, utilizing these natural circles as the foundation for their magnificent city? If so, wouldn't we expect to find remnants, artifacts left behind by this advanced civilization? Archaeological expeditions have indeed unearthed arrowheads, spears, and other tools in the area. But these discoveries are not connected to Atlantis. The Eye of the Sahara is rich in artifacts from the Ashan, an ancient tribe that frequented the region. The earliest Ashan tools date back over 1.5 million years, with some specimens estimated to be 130,000 years old. Atlantis, according to the records, existed a mere 12,000 years ago. Furthermore, archaeologists have found no artificial structures, no ruins, no debris, indicating the presence of a large, technologically advanced city. Surely something would have survived, some trace of their existence. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the idea of the Eye of the Sahara as Atlantis gained traction, fueled by a popular YouTube channel. The theory garnered millions of views, capturing the imagination of historians and anthropologists alike. However, the theory was quickly debunked. The discrepancies between the site and Plato's descriptions proved too significant. It seemed the author had simply capitalized on superficial similarities between a natural wonder and a fictional city. Another persistent theory places Atlantis off the coast of the Bahamas, claiming the city was swallowed by the Bermuda Triangle. According to this legend, the city's ruins still lie on the ocean floor, shrouded in mystery. However, there is no credible evidence to support this claim. The theory was popularized by writer Charles Berlitz. Proponents suggest that underwater rock formations near the Bahamas are the remnants of Atlantean walls and streets. Scientists, however, have demonstrated that these are natural formations of coastal rock. Yet another theory proposes that the Atlantis myth was inspired by a real-world catastrophe. The Black Sea Flood. The Bosporus Strait in Turkey connects the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara. Around 5600 BCE, the Black Sea was significantly smaller, with numerous settlements along its shores. A cataclysmic flood devastated this thriving civilization within a single year. Cities were submerged, and the survivors fled, carrying tales of the disaster. Perhaps these stories served as the inspiration for Plato's Atlantis. In the 1950s, folks came up with Imagine a world sculpted by the relentless breath of the wind. In arid landscapes, where life clings tenuously, the wind becomes a sculptor, eroding the earth far more rapidly than in verdant lands. Picture North Africa, a seemingly endless ocean of sand. Beneath this rippling expanse lies bedrock, fractured and cracked clay, the same foundation found across the planet. But here, in the Sahara, something is profoundly different. Unlike other regions where a layer of soil blankets the bedrock, the Sahara's harsh climate and sparse plant life have allowed sand to reign supreme. Over millennia, this sandy shroud has become a repository of astonishing discoveries. Consider the petrified tree trunks, ghostly remnants of prehistoric forests. These aren't just rocks. They are the preserved remains of trees that flourished when this land was a lush, green paradise. Some of these fossilized giants stand as tall as 65 feet, their wood so perfectly preserved that you can still trace the intricate patterns of their texture and knots. Even fossilized pine cones, echoes of a bygone era, lie scattered among the sand. In 1992, the sands of the Eastern Sahara yielded another enigma, fragments of glass, a mesmerizing canary yellow in hue. These shards were scattered across hundreds of miles, hinting at a story far older than any human civilization. Though the ancient Egyptians later prized this desert glass, incorporating it into jewelry, even adorning King Tutankhamun's breastplate with a magnificent scarab beetle crafted from it, its origins lay far beyond their time. For years, scientists grappled with the mystery of these fragments. Finally, they arrived at a stunning conclusion. The glass was approximately 29 million years old, a product of a cataclysmic impact. An impactite, as it's known, is born when a meteorite strikes the Earth with unimaginable force. The impact generates colossal heat, estimated to reach nearly 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to instantly melt the surrounding minerals. So, amidst the fine grains of the Sahara, we find evidence of both ordinary sand and sand transformed by cosmic fire. But the desert holds even more improbable treasures. Shark teeth, fossilized relics of marine predators, are commonly unearthed in Morocco, in the western reaches of the Sahara. What are these denizens of the deep doing in the heart of the desert? The answer lies in the Earth's ever-shifting story. Millions of years ago, this part of the world was unrecognizable. A vast sea, known as the Trans-Saharan Seaway, cleaved through the land that is now desert. This waterway, stretching across present-day Algeria and Mali, plunged to depths of around 165 feet, a perfect haven for a diverse array of aquatic life. Giant catfish, sinuous sea snakes, and, of course, sharks thrived in its waters. British archaeologists excavating in Mali in the 1980s even unearthed the fossilized shell of a turtle, a testament to this marine past. The desert's embrace extends even to the works of humankind. For centuries, an entire Roman city lay hidden beneath the sands. Timgad, a Roman outpost established by Emperor Trajan around 100 AD, flourished for centuries. But for reasons lost to time, its inhabitants abandoned it around the year 700. The relentless sands of the Sahara soon swallowed the city whole, concealing it for nearly 1,000 years. Then, in the 1700s, a Scottish explorer embarked on a quest to unearth the lost city. His team first uncovered a magnificent sandstone triumphal arch, soaring 40 feet high, echoing the grandeur of those found in Rome and Paris. An amphitheater soon emerged from the sand, followed by remarkably preserved statues of Roman emperors. The Scotsman's discovery was so astonishing that it was initially met with disbelief. It took 2 more centuries for archaeologists to fully excavate the city, revealing a site as vast as 10 polo fields during the 1950s. The ruins of Timgad showcase the Romans' mastery of urban planning. Its streets, laid out in a precise orthogonal grid, intersect at right angles. a design mirrored in modern cities like New York. Historians believe that Timgad, at its zenith, was home to around 10,000 people, a melting pot of nationalities from Romans to people of African descent. Today, over 2.5 million people inhabit the Sahara and its fringes, spread across 11 countries. But their living space is shrinking. The desert is expanding, growing 10% larger than it was just a century ago. This isn't a matter of sand simply spilling outwards. Instead, the ecosystems at the desert's edges are gradually transforming. The wind relentlessly strips away the soil, and vegetation dwindles, creating the ideal conditions for desertification. These changes are most acutely felt in the Sahel, a region bordering the Sahara to the south. In response, African nations have united in an ambitious endeavor, the Great Green Wall. The project's primary goal is to halt the desertification of the Sahel and stem the Sahara's advance. Their plan involves planting a vast wall of trees, stretching from the west to the east of the African continent. This proposed forest will be not only long, but also wide, creating a green barrier against the encroaching sands. The Sahara and the Sahel share a deep, intertwined history. Since antiquity, camel caravans have traversed the treacherous routes from Africa's Mediterranean coast in the north to the savannas in the south. Imagine traveling back in time to the golden age of trade in the south. This era truly ignited in the 9th century. Picture the perilous journeys stretching on for months, caravans snaking across vast distances. The routes they followed were more than 2.5 times the length of the Grand Canyon. Even today, explorers unearth remnants of these ancient caravans hidden beneath the shifting sands of the Sahara. Now, let's journey to a place that seems ripped from the pages of a science fiction novel. Picture a cave, its ecosystem utterly isolated from the outside world for a staggering 5.5 million years. The effects of this isolation are truly breathtaking. Prepare to witness something extraordinary. Within the mobile cave, conditions are unlike anywhere else on our planet. A unique ecosystem thrives here, despite the complete absence of sunlight and the presence of toxic air. This cave, located a few miles west of the Black Sea in Romania, was first discovered in 1986. Today, access is strictly controlled, requiring special permission. The central caverns are further guarded by nature itself, a labyrinth of narrow limestone tunnels and treacherous vertical shafts. If you suffer from claustrophobia, perhaps this is a journey best left untaken. Deep within the cave, the air is dramatically different from the surface world. Oxygen levels are halved, while carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide are abundant, hardly the freshest air to breathe. And of course, it is pitch black. Yet, despite, or perhaps because of, this cocktail of incredibly harsh conditions, the mobile cave is a treasure trove for biologists. It's astounding. Life is not just surviving here, it's flourishing. A study conducted in 1996 identified 48 distinct species, and an incredible 33 of them were found nowhere else on Earth. Most of these creatures are small, equipped with elongated limbs and antennae to navigate the perpetual darkness. They are eyeless and lack pigmentation. It makes perfect sense. Why develop the ability to see when surrounded by eternal night? And why waste energy on colorful displays when there are no eyes to appreciate them? Now, let's transport ourselves to another cave, equally amazing but utterly different. The Giant Crystal Cave, also known as the Cave of Crystals, in Mexico. These colossal crystals were discovered in the year 2000 by a mining company. After pumping the water out of the cave, 2 miners ventured inside and beheld the breathtaking sight. These awe-inspiring crystals are, in fact, massive pillars of gypsum, hidden nearly 1,000 feet beneath the surface. They are anchored firmly to the walls and floor of this intensely hot cave. Scientists estimate that these crystals have been growing for perhaps 500,000 years. This explains their immense size, so large that you could walk across some of them. Unfortunately, visiting this natural wonder is currently impossible, but perhaps that is for the best. The Giant Crystal Cave is a dangerous environment, one that could easily become a deadly trap. For tens of thousands of years, it was filled with groundwater, forced upwards into the opening by a magma chamber deep within the earth. The magma beneath the cave kept the water at a scorching temperature. Eventually, however, the water began to cool, dropping below 136 degrees Fahrenheit. As a result, the water became saturated with calcium and sulfate, and these particles began to recombine, forming gypsum. Over vast stretches of time, these gypsum deposits grew into the magnificent, translucent crystals that now dominate the cave. Because they remained submerged, they were able to continue their growth, undisturbed, for millennia. You don't have to travel to outer space to witness the power of a black hole. Scientists have discovered phenomena in the southern Atlantic Ocean that closely resemble these cosmic giants. A black hole possesses such intense gravitational pull that nothing once captured can escape, not even light. But these oceanic black holes seem to possess nearly the same power as their celestial counterparts, though instead of light, they trap water. Ocean eddies are massive whirlpools that spin in opposition to the main current. They often contain billions of tons of water, and many are larger than entire cities. These whirlpools are so powerful that anything caught within their grasp is unable to break free. The truly terrifying aspect is that you might not even realize you are heading towards one. These eddies are so immense that their boundaries remain invisible until it is too late. When scientists began studying ocean vortices using satellites, they were able to map the boundaries of several eddies. Through mathematical analysis, they confirmed that these whirlpools function in much the same way as black holes in space. Massive eddies are surrounded by extremely tight barriers where fluid moves in closed loops. Even water molecules cannot escape these loops. This is why these tight ocean vortices act as enormous containers. The water trapped inside can be dramatically different from the surrounding ocean, and not just in terms of temperature. The salt content inside and outside the whirlpool often varies significantly as well. Imagine a narrow strip of land, a mere sliver separating the vast Baltic Sea from the tranquil Ionian Lagoon. Here, on the Curonian Spit, lies a place so strange, so otherworldly, that it defies easy explanation. Locals whisper of it as the Dancing Forest, a name earned by its bizarre inhabitants. Pine trees contorted into shockingly unnatural shapes. They twist and writhe in spirals and circles, their trunks seemingly pulled and pushed by unseen forces along the forest floor. Theories abound, each attempting to unravel the mystery of this peculiar place. Some speak of clashing energies, of powerful positive and negative forces locked in an eternal struggle beneath the soil. More pragmatic minds point to the geology of the area. The sandy soil, they argue, is too unstable to provide a firm foundation, leaving the trees vulnerable to the elements. But the most prevalent theory, the one most often repeated, attributes the trees' strange forms to the relentless winds that sweep in from the water, shaping and molding them over decades. Yet, even with these explanations, the experts remain baffled, unable to definitively explain the dancing forest's secrets. The mystery persists, a testament to nature's ability to surprise and confound. Now let's dive beneath the waves, to the coast of southern Japan. Here, in 1995, something equally strange was discovered: underwater crop circles. These weren't the sprawling designs found in fields of wheat, but smaller, more intricate structures, roughly 7 feet in diameter. Local divers dubbed them mystery circles, and for nearly 2 decades, their origin remained an enigma. Imagine the surprise, the sheer astonishment of researchers when the culprit was finally revealed. A male pufferfish. Yes, a humble pufferfish, Torquegainer albumaculosus, driven by an instinct as old as time, was the artist behind these underwater marvels. It takes the male pufferfish over a week to complete just one of these circles, and aesthetics are clearly paramount. He meticulously sculpts the sand with his fins, creating valleys and ridges in a precise, circular pattern. But the artistry doesn't end there. The pufferfish also adorns his creation with shells and corals, carefully placed to enhance its visual appeal. But this isn't just about aesthetics. The very act of swimming and digging pushes sand towards the center of the circle, forming a mound that will eventually serve as a nest for his offspring. A masterpiece of nature, built with purpose and precision. Our journey now takes us to the Caribbean, just off the coast of Belize. Here we find the Great Blue Hole, a colossal sinkhole that plunges into the depths of the ocean. It stretches a staggering 1,000 feet across and descends more than 400 feet deep. Imagine, millions of years ago, this was a cave, a vast subterranean chamber hidden beneath the earth. But rising sea levels gradually filled the cave, weakening its structure until, eventually, it collapsed, creating the breathtaking spectacle we see today. As you descend into the Great Blue Hole's crystal-clear waters, the light begins to fade, replaced by an ever-deepening blue. You'll encounter countless stalactite-filled caves, remnants of the ancient cavern. But beware, venturing into these submerged labyrinths is fraught with danger. Getting lost is a very real possibility. At a depth of around 50 feet, you'll notice a shimmering line, an invisible boundary separating the salty surface water from the freshwater abyss below. This is a point of no return, a threshold beyond which lies the unknown. Who knows what lurks in those murky depths? Our next stop takes us deep into the Amazon rainforest to a place whispered about in ancient legends. The legend spoke of a river so hot, so intensely heated, that it boiled. For generations it was dismissed as mere folklore, a fanciful tale told to frighten children. But Peruvian geoscientist Andres Russo couldn't shake the feeling that there might be some truth to the story. Experts scoffed at the idea. Hot rivers, they argued, only exist in areas with volcanic activity, and there were no volcanoes in the region described in the legend. But Andres Russo was undeterred. He dedicated himself to finding this mythical river, and in 2011, he finally succeeded. The river was real, and it was indeed steaming hot. Its temperature reached a scorching 186 degrees Fahrenheit, not quite boiling, but dangerously close. But it wasn't just the temperature that shocked Russo, it was the sheer scale of the river. One might expect a small, localized hot spring to be the source of such heat, but this was no mere thermal pool. This river was 20 feet deep and flowed for nearly 4 miles. A geological anomaly, a true wonder of the natural world, and the only river of its kind on our planet. Finally, let's cast our gaze into the future. What will the cities of tomorrow look like? How will technology shape the world around us? Artificial intelligence, AI, is poised to revolutionize architecture, providing architects with incredible new tools to create breathtaking structures that are not only visually stunning, but also environmentally friendly and incredibly efficient. Imagine a world where AI acts as a city manager, optimizing everything from traffic flow to public safety and waste disposal. AI can analyze vast amounts of data from sensors, social media, and countless other sources to help city planners make informed decisions that improve our lives. Imagine cruising down the road in your flying car, a marvel made possible by AI. Traffic flows effortlessly, and the city anticipates and prevents crime. No more endless gridlock or overflowing landfills. And as you stroll down the street, you'll be captivated by extraordinary buildings with futuristic curves and features. Imagine a world where architecture transcends the ordinary, where buildings not only serve a purpose, but also celebrate the artistry of nature itself. Picture a structure that stands out from the mundane, a testament to human ingenuity, and a nod to the brilliance of the natural world. You might assume such a marvel was conceived by a visionary architect, but the reality is far more intriguing, a collaboration between human minds and artificial intelligence. Envision having an exceptionally intelligent design partner capable of generating thousands of stunning building concepts in the blink of an eye. That's precisely what AI-assisted design software offers to architects. It can produce and evaluate countless design possibilities, taking into account factors such as the optimal materials and the ideal placement of the building. By analyzing vast datasets and performing complex calculations, algorithms can optimize a building's design to minimize energy consumption, conserve water, and manage waste efficiently. The goal is clear: to reduce costs, conserve energy, and promote a more sustainable world. The result: architectural masterpieces that are both breathtakingly beautiful and incredibly practical. The cityscape of the future will be adorned with these awe-inspiring structures, each a testament to the power of collaboration between humans and machines. But what if we could push the boundaries of architectural possibility even further? Imagine a futuristic building that appears to defy gravity, constructed not from traditional bricks and mortar, but through the revolutionary technology of 3D printing. With the assistance of AI, architects meticulously design every intricate detail, feeding in critical data such as material specifications and site conditions. AI algorithms then work their magic, optimizing the design to be both aesthetically stunning and structurally sound. 3D printing is akin to having a magical machine capable of creating incredible structures straight from the realm of science fiction. And AI steps in to ensure that these structures are not only visually appealing, but also robust and durable. In the cities of tomorrow, 3D printing will become an indispensable tool for architects, enabling them to create structures that were once deemed impossible, from mind-bending shapes to intricate embellishments. The possibilities are truly limitless. However, AI's role extends beyond mere aesthetics. It also enhances efficiency and comfort. Imagine stepping into a futuristic office building where the lighting automatically adjusts to your mood and the temperature is perfectly calibrated to your preferences. These advanced buildings are capable of sensing and responding to their surroundings, much like a living organism. They regulate lighting to match the time of day, maintain a consistently comfortable temperature, and even monitor security, resolving minor issues before they escalate. These intelligent buildings can detect the presence of occupants and optimize energy usage accordingly, benefiting both the environment and the bottom line. And that's not all. Consider the potential of transforming skyscrapers into vertical forests. Recently, an architect from India, inspired by the potential of artificial intelligence, partnered with an image-generating AI called Midjourney to envision the future. However, instead of a sterile, robotic world, they envisioned something truly spectacular. Using text prompts such as utopian technology and futuristic towers, the architect and AI collaborated to create a vision of the future. Midjourney did not disappoint. It conjured a world where buildings were enveloped in lush vertical forests, adorned with shapes inspired by the natural world. The goal was to create a sustainable future that harmonized with the environment. Architect Manis Bey is optimistic about AI's potential, viewing it not as a threat to his profession, but as a powerful tool for positive change. He envisions a future where architects and AI collaborate to create breathtaking designs. In one project, Bey even asked the AI to imagine symbiotic and hollowed structures, and it responded with images of apartments nestled within hollowed-out trees. Imagine a world where buildings themselves become living, breathing components of nature. Bey believes that nature should play a central role in architecture, designing structures that embrace nature's beauty and functionality, from buildings constructed around trees to facades that regulate temperature. He is committed to blending architecture seamlessly with the natural world. With architects like Bey at the helm, and with the superpowers of AI at their disposal, the future of cities promises to be extraordinary. Prepare to enter a world where nature and technology coexist in perfect harmony. A dream we eagerly anticipate becoming reality. But if towering forests aren't your preference, consider this. Skyscrapers constructed not from solid bricks, but from inflatable materials. Zumo, an architectural firm based in Barcelona, employed the magic of AI to bring these whimsical structures to life. These inflatable superstructures. Imagine a world where the buildings of tomorrow, vast and luminous, float above our future cities like colossal illuminated balloons. These aren't just fanciful dreams. They're visions of inflatable architecture, structures boasting remarkable sustainability. Picture them, inflated to soaring heights, easily flattened for transport, and then rebuilt wherever they're needed. And the best part? They're powered by renewable energy, minimizing their impact on our fragile environment. Pretty cool, isn't it? The future is rushing towards us, a relentless rocket. Artificial intelligence, AI, is poised to become the secret ingredient, the special sauce that elevates architectural work to extraordinary levels. But with such immense power comes immense responsibility. We must wield AI wisely and ethically. For now, we needn't fear machines entirely usurping architects. AI still requires the guiding hand of human ingenuity. Without it, we might end up with buildings resembling mashed bananas or oversized ice cream cones. Unless, of course, that's your aesthetic preference. Moreover, humans possess an irreplaceable advantage: our humanity. AI, for all its brilliance, lacks emotional intelligence. It's a brainy genius, yes, but it can't fully grasp the feelings and the vibes that humans crave within their spaces. We must remember to infuse our designs with that human touch, those warm and fuzzy elements that evoke the feeling, "Ah, I feel right at home." And let's not forget that AI is still in its infancy, essentially taking its first tentative steps. We must be patient, allowing it time to mature and grow. Rushing the process could lead to wonky designs or buildings that resemble a jumbled puzzle. This might appeal to enthusiasts of avant-garde architecture, but for the average person, it's a definite no thanks. So, as the future unfolds at warp speed, let us embrace the wonders of AI in architecture. But let us also remember to balance its brilliance with our own uniquely human touch. Together, we can forge a future where buildings are not merely functional, but filled with heart and soul. It's an adventure, to be sure. Picture this. You've got your trusty beige parka on, your geological chisel is packed, and your overnight flight to Saudi Arabia is booked. You know what this means, right? Unfortunately, you weren't cast in the remake of Dune. It simply means you're ready to explore the world's largest desert regions, hoping to unearth prehistoric secrets about our ancient ancestors. Let's dispel a common misconception right away. Deserts are not empty spaces. They may be filled with sand as far as the eye can see, but they also hold a wealth of history. Before humans settled into cities and towns, we were nomadic people traversing the globe in search of food, water, and shelter. This necessitated ingenious survival strategies, like this fascinating structure discovered in the Saudi Arabian desert. What could this have been? For years, scientists have debated the origins and purpose of these massive constructions. It seems our Neolithic ancestors were far more clever than we often give them credit for. They weren't solely focused on carving weapons from stone around the campfire. They were also honing their architectural skills. These enormous stone structures are known as desert kites. Viewed from above, they resemble kites in the sky. Archaeologists generally agree that these kites were used to lure animals, making it easier for our ancestors to secure their food supply for the week. But there's more. Look at these monolithic structures. They suggest that our ancestors likely drew blueprints on rocks, mapping out what they intended to build on the ground, much like modern-day architects. Desert kites could stretch for miles, so careful planning was essential before construction began. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect is that these kites predate structures like Stonehenge, dating back roughly 7,000 to 9,000 years. Over the past decade, scientists have identified over 6,000 desert kites scattered across the Middle East, West Asia, and Central Asia. Consider the magnitude of this endeavor. Try building something of this scale without the aid of drones or modern technology. It seems like a formidable challenge. And apparently, the Saudi Arabian desert holds even more incredible treasures. Scientists have unearthed mysterious stone structures that are even older than the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. You're eager to investigate, aren't you? Can we all agree that hauling heavy rocks to build a pyramid without modern technology sounds utterly absurd? How on earth did they accomplish such a feat? Now, imagine turning back the clock roughly 2,000 years into the past and discovering humans who constructed similar gigantic structures in remote areas. Take a look at these so-called mustatils. These are rectangular constructions. Imagine standing amidst a landscape sculpted by time and wind, a testament to human endeavor stretching back millennia. We find ourselves gazing upon sprawling formations of stones scattered across a staggering 77,000 square miles. Archaeologists, piecing together fragments of the past, believe these aren't just random piles. They were monuments, perhaps used in elaborate, ritualistic processions. Picture ancient peoples, their footsteps echoing across the plateau, moving from one sacred point to another. A journey of faith, a connection to something greater. Now, let's journey to another realm of desolation and wonder, the Sahara Desert. A breathtaking vista unfolds, seemingly endless in its expanse. But beneath the shimmering heat haze lies a puzzle, an ancient enigma that has taken researchers years to unravel. The Sahara, a giant among deserts, is the world's largest hot desert. It sprawls across more than 3 million square miles. Imagine 1,000 Hawaiis stitched together. Yes, Antarctica is larger overall, but its icy grip hardly conjures the classic image of a desert. Deep within the Sahara, near the Algerian town of Fougeret El Zoua, something peculiar emerged. For decades, tiny dots plagued satellite images, baffling experts. What were these strange circles? Some speculated oil activity, others, ancient water wells. Dozens of these formations stretch for miles, arranged in eerily straight lines. Intriguingly, they always appear far from modern settlements, roads, or any signs of recent human activity. What purpose did they serve? Put yourself in the sandals of a nomadic hunter-gatherer, eking out a living in this unforgiving landscape. The sun beats down mercilessly as you search for sustenance. Food is scarce, but water is life. How do you find it in this ocean of sand? Relying on the chance discovery of oases is a gamble. This is where the ingenuity of North African peoples shines through. They invented the fogas, a 2,500-year-old irrigation system. Skilled engineers dug deep wells in elevated areas, tapping into hidden reservoirs of groundwater. Then, they constructed parallel shafts at regular intervals, allowing the water to flow from the main well, irrigating entire areas. Travelers could quench their thirst, nourish their livestock, and cultivate crops. A stroke of brilliance. However, a closer look reveals a discrepancy. These mysterious holes, while resembling fogaras, are arranged in lines, not the characteristic circular pattern. Perhaps, then, the oil activity theory holds more weight. Examining high-resolution images from Google Earth, we see that these aren't mere dots. They are substantial craters. The key to unlocking their secret lies buried beneath the shifting sands. Imagine yourself as one of the original researchers, sifting through the desert floor. You unearth peculiar artifacts, old sticks of dynamite and vintage sardine cans. These seemingly random objects are pieces of the puzzle. The sardine cans, identified as models from the 1950s and 60s, suggest that survey teams camped in the area, searching for oil. And the dynamite? It was used for seismic surveying, an age-old technique for mapping underground geological structures to locate potential oil and gas deposits. Our journey through North Africa continues, leading us to another desert mystery near the city of Tiaret, southwest of Algiers. Here, we encounter 13 peculiar monuments known as jadars. While the name might evoke images of Star Wars, these structures are far older. They are pyramid-like tombs, believed to be the final resting places of people who once inhabited this region. Most likely, these were Berber nomads, and the jadars were constructed between the 4th and 7th centuries CE. Venturing inside these ancient monuments reveals their impressive scale. Large underground vaults, chambers, and labyrinthine corridors unfold, leading to over 20 compartments. Exploring their depths could take hours. The walls are adorned with depictions of animals and hunting scenes, echoes of a bygone era. While their exact purpose remains shrouded in mystery, the jadars stand as silent witnesses to the lives and beliefs of those who came before. The deserts of our world hold countless secrets waiting to be unearthed. Who knows what other mysteries lie hidden beneath the sands, waiting for us to discover them? Let's embark on a journey through time, not to the age of dinosaurs, but to a more recent, though still mysterious, past. Forget monstrous reptiles for a moment, and imagine a world where magnificent cities now lie silent beneath the waves. Our first stop, the legend of Atlantis. Since Plato first penned the tale in ancient Greece, the story has captivated imaginations. A civilization of immense technological prowess, some say rivaling even the Mayans, met a cataclysmic end, swallowed by the sea as punishment for their greed. Was Atlantis real? Science offers no definitive proof, but the ocean holds secrets of its own. Today, we're diving into real underwater cities, places that existed, thrived, and ultimately succumbed to the relentless power of the ocean. First, we find ourselves off the coast of Italy, near the submerged city of Baia. Once known as the Las Vegas of the Roman Empire, Baia was a playground for the elite. Imagine opulent open-air spas, where emperors and senators relaxed and plotted. Now, you can explore this sunken paradise firsthand. Scuba dive amongst perfectly preserved Roman sculptures, marvel at crumbled temples, and glide past buildings viewed through glass-bottom boats. Before us stands Claudio's Nymphaeum, now a moss-covered museum teeming with marine life. To your left, a collection of classical Greek statues, eerily silent in their watery tomb. Swimming down the Via Herculania, we reach the opulent villas, Italian-style houses adorned with original marble floors. Notice the intricate black and white patterns, the astounding geometric shapes, still visible after centuries beneath the sea. Next, we arrive at the Villa of Julius Caesar. See the collapsing wall structures resting on the seafloor, well-preserved columns rising towards the surface, and the remnants of limestone floors. Behold the ruins of the thermal baths of Lacus, their multicolored mosaics a vibrant testament to a bygone era. Orange, blue, and green tiles shimmer in the filtered sunlight. Nearby at Punta Epitafio stand 25 preserved Roman pillars, a testament to the city's grandeur. Notice the arches, the remnants of frescoes, the sheer scale of this well-kept treasure. Baia's location above natural volcanic vents provided the hot springs that made it so desirable. Roman emperors like Nero, Cicero, and Caesar flocked here to indulge in the city's pleasures. But around the 8th century, Baia was sacked, its riches plundered, and its inhabitants scattered. Slowly, inexorably, the water level rose, and the city began its descent into the depths. Now, let's journey to Greece. Picture yourself on a summer vacation, 4 hours outside of Athens, on the Peloponnese Peninsula near Pavlopetri. The sun beats down as you dust off your snorkel, ready for a free dive. As you descend, about 13 feet below the surface, you begin to discern patterns on the seabed. Familiar shapes emerge one by one. As you swim further, the outline of an entire city materializes before your eyes. How could water have swallowed an entire city? The rocks are perfectly aligned, forming what appears to be the foundations of buildings. Nicholas Fleming, a British oceanographer, stumbled upon Pavlopetri during a vacation in Greece. While documenting seafloor artifacts, his team uncovered a treasure trove of pottery, storage vessels, and tools. A quern stone used for grinding grains into flour suggests a settled community. The discovery of numerous amphorae indicates that this settlement dates back to the Bronze Age, some 5,500 years ago, when humans first began living in organized towns. Pavlopetri, believed to have thrived for over 2,400 years, is now considered the oldest submerged city discovered. But what's truly remarkable is that this wasn't a simple village. It was a vibrant port city, complete with stone-built buildings, a bustling marketplace, well-defined streets, and even public squares. Our exploration continues, this time to the Pacific Ocean. We're diving off the coast of the Ryukyu Islands. The waters here are far from tranquil. A strong current threatens to pull you into the abyss. Suddenly, a colossal structure looms into view. Bathed in sunlight filtering through the water, it initially resembles the ruins of Machu Picchu, transported across the globe from Peru. As you approach, the form becomes clearer. A pyramid-shaped structure, complete with arches and staircases. It could easily have been a palace, a castle, a testament to a forgotten civilization. Could this be another sign of human activity? What you're seeing is the Yonaguni Monument, also known as Japan's Atlantis. This immense structure spans the size of 5 football fields and rises to the height of a 5-story building. Its most surprising feature is, imagine vast ancient terraces, now gathering only silent crowds of fish. Explorers and scientists ponder the mystery of Yonaguni, a submerged structure that may date back 10,000 years. Is it a creation of human hands, or a quirk of nature's artistry? The debate continues to rage. For Professor Masaki Kimura, Japan's leading marine geologist, Yanaguni whispers tales of a lost civilization, a forgotten kingdom called Kimura. He has explored these underwater ruins countless times over a decade, convinced by what he sees. He points to a triangle pool etched into the monument's surface, a concave shape echoing historical water fountains of the region. Then, there's the colossal turtle carved into the eastern flank of the structure. Turtles, according to Kimura, held profound cultural significance. Scattered around the site, stone tools have been recovered, their age estimated at a staggering 10,000 years. Yet, not all agree with Kimura's assessment. Skeptics argue that Yanaguni is simply the product of millennia of relentless erosion. The monument's monolithic nature, carved from a single massive rock, leads them to believe it's a natural formation, not a man-made marvel. They point to the sharp edges and flat surfaces, features reminiscent of the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. There, interlocking basalt columns resemble the ruins of a palace, yet they are solely the result of ancient volcanic fury. The ocean guards its secrets well. Now, let's journey onward to another underwater spectacle, a city once teeming with life, now transformed into an underwater archaeological park. Port Royal, Jamaica. Today, it exists only beneath the waves, but in 1692, it reigned as one of the wealthiest cities in the Western Hemisphere. Port Royal was the pulsating heart of the British Empire in the region, a vital trade hub attracting merchants and adventurers from every corner of the globe. It also had a darker side, a haven for the real-life pirates of the Caribbean. But fate had a cruel twist in store. On the morning of June 7th, 1692, Port Royal's vibrant life was shattered. The taverns and restaurants, usually buzzing with activity, were rocked awake by a cataclysmic earthquake, estimated today at a magnitude of 7.5. One survivor recounted seeing the earth split open, swallowing the town hall whole. This terrifying vision may well have been true, as Port Royal was largely built on unstable sand. The ground liquefied, consuming buildings, roads, and the people who stood upon them. Geysers of mud and water erupted from the earth, followed by monstrous waves, some as tall as 10-story buildings, that crashed down on the city. Approximately 33 acres of Port Royal vanished beneath the sea, and remarkably, much of its 17th-century remains lie preserved in relatively good condition under just 40 feet of water. Among the ruins, archaeologists have unearthed taverns, storage rooms, kitchens, and recreational buildings, each whispering tales of a bygone era. A grand lion statue stands sentinel, a submerged bridge arches gracefully, and picturesque arches frame the underwater landscape. Our voyage continues eastward, to the shores of India. Just off its coast lies another sunken marvel, a site known as the lost city of Cambay, nestled in the Gulf of the same name. This ancient metropolis remained hidden until 2001, when the National Institute of Ocean Technology conducted a routine water assessment using sonar. The sonar waves, bouncing off the seabed, revealed something extraordinary far beneath the surface. Images depicted well-defined geometric shapes stretching across a 5-mile expanse. The artifacts recovered from the site have been dated to over 9,500 years ago, suggesting that this civilization vanished around the end of the last ice age. The recovered debris included construction materials, pottery shards, beads, sculptures, and even skeletal remains. Scientists continue to debate the origin of these artifacts, questioning whether they truly belong to the site. However, if they do, the lost city of Cambay would rewrite history, claiming the title of the oldest civilization ever discovered. Let's project ourselves into the near future. Imagine it's 2025, and our planet is drastically different. Rising sea levels, increasingly severe weather patterns, and the relentless acidification of the oceans have become the defining challenges of our time. In one of the world's most populous coastal cities, the situation has reached a critical breaking point. It was a seemingly ordinary sunny day in June when a colossal earthquake ripped through the city. The ground bucked and swayed violently, sending buildings teetering precariously. People surged through the streets in desperate search of safety. But even as the shaking subsided, the city's inhabitants faced an even greater threat. A towering wall of water, nearly 100 feet high, barreling towards them, driven by the earthquake's immense power. The tsunami struck with unimaginable force, obliterating entire neighborhoods and claiming thousands of lives. But amidst the devastation, an unexpected opportunity arose. In the aftermath of the catastrophe, city authorities realized that simply rebuilding was not an option. The city needed a radical new approach. The world needed a shield, a bulwark against the ever-present threat of catastrophe. And so, an audacious vision took root: the construction of an underwater metropolis. Imagine a city, self-sustaining and resilient, nestled beneath the ocean's waves, capable of weathering any natural disaster that dared to strike. The goal was nothing less than a self-sufficient, sustainable city, a haven impervious to surface storms. This ambitious project envisioned harnessing the ocean's own power, employing tidal energy and underwater solar arrays to fuel its existence. Designed to withstand the most extreme weather conditions, the city would boast cutting-edge emergency response systems, a veritable fortress against the whims of nature. The promise of such a sanctuary drew the brightest minds from across the globe. Scientists, engineers, and architects, all united by a common purpose. They dedicated themselves to meticulously planning every facet of this underwater haven, leaving no detail unexamined. This underwater city would mirror its terrestrial counterparts, complete with schools, hospitals, bustling marketplaces, and inviting restaurants. Submerged farms would cultivate marine life, providing sustenance for its inhabitants. A sophisticated transportation network comprised of advanced submarines and intricate underwater tunnels would seamlessly connect the city's various districts. The project ignited a beacon of hope, demonstrating humanity's capacity to unite and create extraordinary solutions in the face of adversity. But as time wore on, the utopian vision began to show cracks. The project's financial demands swelled beyond initial projections, and concerns mounted regarding the long-term viability of such an endeavor in the unpredictable marine environment. Yet the team of scientists and engineers refused to yield. After years of relentless experimentation and refinement, they finally realized their dream: a magnificent underwater city, a testament to human ingenuity. It was a self-contained ecosystem capable of supporting its inhabitants indefinitely. The structures were forged from revolutionary materials, capable of withstanding the immense pressure of the ocean depths. Power was supplied by a sophisticated network of hydroelectric turbines. Soon, the first wave of colonists arrived, a diverse group each driven by their own unique motivations. Some were intrepid adventurers, drawn by the allure of exploring a new frontier. Others sought refuge from the escalating natural disasters plaguing the land above. But despite their disparate backgrounds, they shared a collective aspiration: to forge a new society, one that lived in harmony with the natural world. The underwater city flourished, yielding new discoveries with each passing day. The colonists pioneered innovative technologies, mastering the art of harnessing the ocean's power. They cultivated underwater gardens and farms, ensuring a stable and abundant food supply. However, life beneath the waves presented its own set of challenges. The colonists grappled with feelings of isolation and claustrophobia. Tensions reached a boiling point when a group of activists launched a protest against the city's expansion plans. They argued that the underwater city, intended as a sanctuary, was in fact posing a threat to the delicate marine ecosystem. They urged the colonists to prioritize minimizing their impact on underwater life. The protest ignited a fierce debate among the colonists. Some argued that the city's survival hinged on continued growth and expansion. Others maintained that protecting the environment should be paramount. Ultimately, a compromise was struck. The city would continue to expand, but sustainability and environmental responsibility would be guiding principles. The colonists pledged to minimize their impact, embracing new technologies and adhering to strict conservation protocols. They vowed to remain vigilant stewards of the ocean and its fragile ecosystem. Years melted into decades, and the underwater city continued to prosper. New generations of colonists were born, raised in a world vastly different from that of their ancestors. They had never witnessed the surface world, but they cherished the beauty and complexity of their underwater home. As time marched on, the city evolved into a symbol of hope for a world grappling with the devastating consequences of climate change. It demonstrated that even in the face of immense challenges, humanity could unite to create a better future. It served as a potent reminder that the future is not predetermined, and that we have the power to shape it sustainably and in harmony with the natural world. Imagine, tens of thousands of years ago, the continent we now know as Antarctica wasn't a frozen wasteland. Picture a warm, thriving land, home to a highly developed civilization, Atlantis. According to one version of the legend, this advanced society flourished in Antarctica before a cataclysmic shift in the Earth's crust forced them northward. But the Atlanteans, alas, could not adapt to the increasingly frigid conditions. The once great civilization was slowly entombed under a thick, suffocating blanket of ice. However, when scientists began to seriously investigate tectonic plates, this theory crumbled. It became clear that the Earth's crust simply doesn't behave that way. It couldn't have shifted a landmass as immense as Antarctica so dramatically. The tectonic plates follow different rules. But the fundamental question lingers. Was Atlantis ever real? No one wrote about it before Plato. Perhaps the philosopher invented the story. Did he perhaps craft it to underscore the validity of his philosophical views, to give weight to his theories on life? In his writings, Plato explored the themes of divine and human nature, and the potential for humanity to corrupt that nature. He spoke of societies that crumble due to rampant immorality and vice. The Atlanteans, in his narrative, were once a virtuous, spiritually advanced people who had created a utopia. But they succumbed to greed and wickedness. They destroyed their own inner virtue, and as a consequence, they witnessed the annihilation of their city. One fateful night, fire and earthquakes ravaged Atlantis, plunging it into the depths of the sea. The gods, or higher powers, punished the people for their moral failings. Plato intended this tale to serve as a warning, to instill fear of moral decay. Yet, the descriptions of earthquakes and fire suggest a different possibility: that Atlantis was destroyed by a volcanic eruption, much like the ancient Roman city of Pompeii. Such devastating events have occurred frequently throughout history. Natural disasters have toppled many flourishing cities. One particularly striking example unfolded around 1100 BCE in the Mediterranean Sea. A volcanic eruption obliterated the highly advanced Minoan civilization. This society had thrived for approximately 2,000 years, primarily on the islands of Crete and Santorini, located north of Crete. The Minoans were master builders and engineers. They constructed magnificent houses, developed sophisticated sewage systems, and fostered a thriving economy. They were skilled in agriculture, cultivating fruits and vegetables. They adorned their homes with vibrant frescoes and crafted exquisite jewelry. They were the first to establish a thalassocracy, a maritime empire built on naval power. They engaged in piracy and dominated maritime trade. But their culture was also marked by cruelty and ritualistic practices, and their way of life was far from morally upright. Living on the volcanic island of Santorini, they were accustomed to earthquakes. They reinforced their city walls with sturdy wooden beams, but they were unprepared for the cataclysm that awaited them. When the acrid smell of sulfur filled the air, they failed to recognize the impending catastrophe. When the volcano erupted, spewing tons of lava and ash into the sky, the residents of Santorini fled their homes, desperately seeking escape. But there was no escape. The eruption triggered a massive tsunami, a colossal wave that engulfed the coastal regions of Crete. This devastating event crippled the Minoan economy, destroying their vital port harbor. Weakened, they became vulnerable to attack. Foreign invaders swept in, delivering the final blow to the once mighty Minoan civilization. Some historians believe that Plato may have drawn inspiration from the story of the Minoan Empire when crafting the legend of Atlantis. Using their demise as a cautionary tale, he illustrated how immoral actions can lead to the downfall of an entire people. This summer feels relentless, doesn't it? We're roasting out here, feeling like marshmallows on a sizzling grill. The world is undeniably getting hotter, but even in ancient times, people devised ingenious ways to combat extreme heat. Some of these ancient cooling systems are still functioning today, even after 3,000 years. Let's journey back in time and explore how people throughout history managed to survive the sweltering heat. Grab a cool drink, drop in an ice cube, and prepare to discover some remarkable innovations. Speaking of ice cubes, did you know that the Persians, living in the scorching deserts of ancient Persia, developed an incredibly effective ice storage system? They had an ingenious solution for preventing their food from spoiling in the heat. These clever Persians stumbled upon a physics trick that allowed them to create ice right in the heart of the desert. They called these structures yakchal, which translates to ice pit. These weren't just ordinary coolers. They were like secret, underground refrigerators. From the outside, a yakchal appeared as a dome-shaped structure made of mud brick. But inside, it was a different world altogether. These ice pits utilized an evaporative cooling system that worked like magic. At night, when the desert air cooled down, the Persians harnessed the power of radiative cooling. They constructed cleverly designed trenches to hold thin layers of water. Defying the desert heat, the water would freeze. Below ground were square storage areas. The Persians collected the melting ice water from the cool trenches, and during the night froze it again, taking full advantage of the desert's natural chill. To further enhance the cooling effect, they built a wall. Let's journey back in time, far from our modern world, to witness the ingenuity of ancient civilizations. Imagine a world without air conditioning, where survival in scorching climates depended on understanding the power of nature. Picture this. Ancient people, the Yakchels, who once thrived, ingeniously devised ways to keep cool. They constructed elaborate storage areas, carefully shaded to protect their precious goods from the relentless midday sun. But their brilliance didn't stop there. They engineered a fantastic wind-catching contraption known as a badger. This device skillfully captured the slightest breeze and channeled it directly into ice pits. Imagine the effect: fresh air combined with the icy chill, a truly unbeatable combination. To further enhance their cooling system, they even built intricate water channels, called qanats, to transport water from distant mountain sources to their ice pits and homes. As the centuries rolled on, these yakchels slowly faded from the pages of history, their ancient techniques gradually replaced by modern technology. But here's some welcome news. Dedicated individuals in Iran are now working diligently to restore these ancient cooling systems. So, if you ever find yourself traveling through the desert, be sure to visit these remarkable sites and experience firsthand the genius of the ancient Persians. Now, let's delve deeper into the fascinating world of wind catchers. These aren't just simple ice-making devices. They function as complete cooling systems. Picture this. Back in the day, these architectural marvels were all the rage in regions like Persia, modern-day Iran, Egypt, and throughout the Middle East. Imagine tower-like structures, strategically designed with openings at various levels to harness the raw power of the natural breeze. These openings acted like magical portals, capturing those refreshing gusts of wind and directing them straight into people's living spaces. Essentially, they were natural air conditioners. The gentle breeze would gracefully flow downward, cooling the ground as it danced through the building. The true magic lay in the intricate details: the tower's height, the number of sides, the precise placement of the openings, and the positioning of the interior blades. Every element played a crucial role in maximizing the efficiency of these wind towers. Thanks to these ingenious wind catchers, ancient societies could enjoy comfortable indoor temperatures without enduring the sweltering heat. Can you imagine living in those times, feeling the gentle breeze caressing your skin, keeping you refreshed and relaxed? The Persians are often credited with inventing these incredible wind catchers, but let's not forget about Egypt. There, we find evidence of similar structures dating back as far as 1300 BCE. While the invention of wind catchers may have originated in ancient Egypt, Yazd, in Iran, stands as the city with the highest concentration of these structures. Life in this region would have been virtually impossible without these ancient air conditioning systems, as rainfall was extremely scarce throughout the year. Now, let's shift our focus to these perforated, double-skinned exteriors. Imagine adorning a building with an elaborate perforated screen, giving its exterior a stylish and functional makeover. This ingenious technique serves multiple purposes. First, it scatters the harsh natural daylight, preventing blinding sunbeams from penetrating the interior. The screen also acts as a shade, providing the building's interior with much-needed relief from the scorching sun. Think of it as a natural sun hat for your home. By placing this screen approximately 4 feet away from the outer walls, it creates a breezy hallway, promoting fresh air circulation. And let's not forget the touch of elegance these structures add to the building's overall aesthetic. These structures are sometimes referred to as jali. In Jaipur, India, for example, where average daytime temperatures can soar to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, these structures are nothing short of lifesavers. Jalas come in a variety of forms, crafted from materials such as cement, earth, and wood. They represent a significant cultural symbol, deeply rooted in Indian architecture. You can find their captivating presence in iconic historical landmarks, such as the majestic Taj Mahal and the Grand Red Fort in Delhi. But these aren't just relics of the past. They continue to thrive in modern architecture, and their charm has sparked creativity in artists and designers worldwide. Imagine a building's exterior adorned with a cross-section featuring a larger opening on the outside and a smaller one on the inside. This is where the Venturi effect demonstrates its physical prowess. As air flows through the narrowing passage, it accelerates, creating a pressure difference between the inside and outside of the building. Air moving at a higher speed becomes compressed, and when released, cools down. Now, picture a mashrabiyya, a wooden lattice or screen commonly used in the Middle East and North Africa. These decorative wonders are more than just aesthetically pleasing. They're incredibly functional. They provide privacy, shield you from the sun's intense rays, and allow fresh air and light to enter. Some designs even incorporate clay pots filled with water, sand, or damp straw. As hot air breezes through the holes, it also passes through the pot's porous surface, causing the moisture inside to evaporate and cool the air. This is a perfect, low-cost technique for hot and dry climates. It's eco-friendly and requires no electricity. Now, let's fast forward to the present day. Designers are creatively blending traditional wisdom with modern technology. Take, for instance, the Al Bar Towers in Abu Dhabi. They've got it all figured out. Imagine stepping into a time machine, not to visit the future, but to journey back to a world shaped by ancient ingenuity. Picture over 2,000 hexagonal panels, each meticulously designed to follow the sun's path, casting shadows that dance and protect the interiors of buildings from the scorching heat. Water evaporation, a secret weapon wielded by ancient civilizations, a simple yet profoundly effective method of climate control. The ancient Egyptians, masters of innovation, would hang wet mats and curtains in doorways, transforming the dry desert air into a refreshing breeze as it passed through. Ancient architects, true visionaries, understood the art of maximizing airflow. They were experts at cross-ventilation, allowing hot air to escape while inviting cooler currents to circulate. Now, let's transport ourselves to ancient Rome, where bathhouses were more than just places to wash. They were vibrant community hubs. People gathered to discuss politics, engage in sports, and, of course, indulge in relaxing dips. The Frigidarium, a cool sanctuary within the Roman baths, offered respite after a steamy soak in the caldarium. Romans would eagerly plunge into this giant pool, seeking relief from the intense heat. And in Cappadocia, Turkey, we discover a different approach. Here, people sought refuge underground, carving cozy dwellings into the volcanic rock, harnessing the Earth's natural cooling properties. These subterranean homes offered a cool escape from the sweltering surface temperatures. The lesson is clear. Architects and designers can create wonders by blending time-honored traditions with cutting-edge technology. Consider the extremes our planet can reach. California's Death Valley holds the record for the highest officially registered temperature, a staggering 134 degrees Fahrenheit, recorded in 1913. Africa's scorching peak reached 130 degrees F in Kabylie, Tunisia, back in 1931. Europe's highest recorded temperature nearly touched 120 degrees F in Sicily during the sweltering August of 2021. Then, in 2022, the United Kingdom experienced its hottest summer ever. But what about the mysteries that lie beneath the waves? Could the legendary Atlantis be more than just a myth? This enduring enigma has captivated imaginations for centuries. The tale, popularized by Plato in ancient Greece, speaks of a civilization that rose to prominence before our own. Atlantis was said to be a technologically advanced society, perhaps akin to the Mayan civilization, but with a fateful flaw. Legend has it that the people's greed led to their downfall, punished by a cataclysmic flood that submerged their cities, erasing them from the face of the earth. Numerous theories attempt to pinpoint Atlantis's location. Some place it in the Mediterranean Sea, while others believe it rests beneath the Bermuda Triangle. But as science suggests, Atlantis may be an allegory, a cautionary tale about humanity itself. However, the ocean depths hold real breathtaking underwater cities, unknown to many, that are far from mythical. Prepare for an excursion to Baia, an underwater city off the coast of Italy. Known as the Las Vegas of the Roman Empire, Baia was a resort city where the Roman elite flocked for leisure and pleasure. Imagine a sprawling spa, a place of indulgence and relaxation. That was Baia. Today, you can explore the submerged town through scuba diving, getting up close to perfectly preserved Roman sculptures, true underwater wonders. Glimpse crumbled temples and buildings through glass-bottom boats, revealing a moss-covered museum. To your left, feast your eyes on Claudio's Nymphaeum, a collection of classical Greek statues. Swimming down the Via Herculania, you'll arrive at Baia's Villas, Italian-style houses where you can admire original marble floors, noticing the intricate black and white patterns and the astonishing shapes they form. Next, you'll reach Piso's Villa, where you can observe the collapsing wall structures at the bottom of the seafloor, with well-preserved columns and limestone floors. Behold the ruins of the thermal baths of Lacus, their remaining multicolored mosaics a sight to behold, with orange, blue, and green tiles. At Pisonis Villa, you'll witness 25 preserved Roman pillars, noting the arches, the nearby frescoes, and the sheer scale of this well-kept treasure. The city thrived because it was situated over natural volcanic vents, providing hot springs for the pleasure and relaxation of its inhabitants. And when we say inhabitants, we're talking about some of the most prominent figures in Roman history: Nero, Cicero, Caesar. But around the 8th century, the city was sacked, and the luxurious town was abandoned. Slowly, the water level rose, and the city began to drown, succumbing to the sea's embrace. Now, let's journey to another submerged wonder. Picture yourself on a summer vacation off the coast of Greece, 4 hours outside of Athens, on the Peloponnese Peninsula, near Pavlopetri. You dust off your snorkel and prepare for a free dive on a bright sunny day. As you descend, about 13 feet below the surface, you begin to notice patterns on the seabed. The outlines of familiar objects start to appear, one by one, as you swim further. The outline of an entire city emerges before your very eyes. How could water have claimed an entire city? Rocks are perfectly aligned, forming what appears to be the foundations of buildings. Nicholas Fleming, a British oceanographer vacationing in Greece, made the extraordinary discovery of Pavlopetri. While documenting the seafloor, his team uncovered a site filled with pottery and storage vessels, remnants of a civilization lost to time. Imagine traveling back thousands of years. A simple stone, a Quirin stone, lies before us. It's not just a rock, but a tool painstakingly used for grinding grains into life-sustaining flour. Nearby, multiple amas, ancient grinding stones, tell a story. This wasn't just a campsite, this was a settlement, a community dating back to the Bronze Age, some 500 years ago, when humankind first began to cluster together in towns and villages. This settlement, known as Pavlopetri, endured for over 2 millennia. Today, it holds the distinguished title of the oldest submerged town ever discovered. What's truly remarkable is that Pavlopetri wasn't a mere village. It was a bustling port city, alive with commerce and connection. Picture stone buildings, a vibrant marketplace teeming with activity, organized streets, and even public squares where people gathered. Let's continue our underwater journey, seeking out secrets in other lost cities beneath the waves. We find ourselves diving off the coast of the Ryukyu Islands. The Pacific waters here are anything but calm. a powerful current threatens to pull us into the abyss. Suddenly, a colossal structure emerges from the depths, bathed in the sunlight, filtering down to the seabed. At first glance, it evokes the ruins of Machu Picchu, far across the globe in Peru. As we draw closer, the form of this underwater enigma becomes clearer. A pyramid-shaped structure rises before us, adorned with arches and staircases. It resembles a palace or a fortress, a testament to some forgotten civilization. Could this be another sign of human ingenuity lost to time? This is the Yonaguni Monument, sometimes called Japan's Atlantis. The monument is vast, covering an area equivalent to 5 football fields and rising to the height of a 5-story building. Its most striking feature is the expansive terraces, seemingly designed to accommodate large gatherings of people. Explorers and scientists estimate that Yonaguni could be as old as 10,000 years. However, the question remains, is this an artificial structure crafted by human hands, or a natural formation sculpted by the relentless forces of nature? Professor Masaki Kimura, a leading marine geologist in Japan, believes Yonaguni is a relic of a lost civilization. Over the past decade, Kimura has dived into the ruins more than 100 times. He points to clear evidence of human intervention. The triangular pool on the monument's surface, a concave depression shaped like a triangle, mirrors historical symbols of water fountains in the region. He also notes a giant turtle carved into the eastern side of the structure. According to Kimura, turtles held significant cultural importance for ancient peoples. Furthermore, numerous stone tools have been recovered from the site, their estimated age placing them at around 10,000 years old. Yet not all scientists share Kimura's conviction. Many argue that Yonaguni is the product of millennia of erosion. The fact that the monument is composed of a single, massive rock formation leads them to believe it is not man-made. The defined edges and flat surfaces, they contend, resemble a natural geological occurrence found in Northern Ireland known as the Giant's Causeway. There, a series of interlocking basalt columns creates a landscape that resembles the ruins of an ancient palace, but is in fact the result of volcanic activity. Our voyage continues, and next we will explore one of the most famous underwater cities, now transformed into an underwater archaeological park, Port Royal in Jamaica. Today, Port Royal exists only beneath the waves, but in 1692, it stood as one of the wealthiest and most important cities in the Western Hemisphere. Port Royal was the heart of the British Empire in the Caribbean, a vital trade hub that drew people from all corners of the world. It was also notorious as a haven for real-life pirates of the Caribbean. But on the morning of June 7, 1692, the residents of Port Royal faced a fate far different from what they expected. The taverns and restaurants, usually bursting with life, were shaken awake. People were thrown from their beds by a massive earthquake, estimated today to have reached 7.5 on the Richter scale. One survivor recounted witnessing the earth opening up and swallowing the town hall. This account rings true, as the city was built primarily on sand. The ground simply gave way, consuming buildings, roads, and the people above. Geysers of water erupted from the earth, and then colossal waves, as tall as 10-story buildings, crashed into the city. Approximately 33 acres of Port Royal vanished beneath the sea. Amazingly, much of its 17th century remains are remarkably well preserved under just 40 feet of water. Archaeologists exploring the ruins have discovered taverns, storage rooms, kitchens, and recreational buildings used for all sorts of purposes. A grand lion statue stands guard, a submerged bridge arches gracefully, and many picturesque arches still stand. Now, let's travel to India. Just off its coast lies another submerged wonder, the lost city of Cambay. Situated in the Gulf of Combat, this ancient city remained hidden until 2001. During a routine water assessment using sonar technology, the National Institute of Ocean Technology detected something extraordinary far beneath the surface. The sonar images revealed well-defined geometric shapes stretching across a 5-mile expanse. The recovered remains were dated to over 9,500 years ago, suggesting that this civilization vanished around the end of the Ice Age. Debris recovered from the site included construction materials and artifacts, hinting at a sophisticated and organized society. Imagine, if you will, a lost city swallowed by the sands of time. Among pottery shards, enigmatic beads, fragmented sculptures, and perhaps even ancient bones, a fierce debate rages among scientists. Could these artifacts truly originate from this location? If proven genuine, the submerged city of Cambay might rewrite history as the world's oldest urban civilization. Now, let's journey to Egypt, November 1922. A young boy wanders through the desolate, sun-baked mountains, his eyes catching something unusual: ancient steps etched into the very rock. This seemingly insignificant discovery would soon unlock one of the most magnificent and significant archaeological finds in history. These steps led to the untouched tomb of Tutankhamun. Within, archaeologists unearthed a staggering treasure trove of nearly 5,000 objects. Dazzling jewelry, exquisitely woven fabrics, intricately painted vases, and, most famously, the iconic funeral mask. This golden visage has become an instantly recognizable emblem of ancient Egypt, its power undiminished through the ages. More than a century has passed since that momentous discovery. Now, humanity stands on the cusp of another potential revelation: the tomb of Cleopatra. This legendary queen, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, reigned from 51 to 30 BCE. Countless ancient texts speak of Cleopatra, her reign, and her captivating personality. Yet the mystery surrounding her death and final resting place has remained unsolved. Enter Dr. Kathleen Martinez, a dedicated archaeologist who has spent decades meticulously studying ancient records and temples in and around Alexandria. Her research has led her to a compelling conclusion. Cleopatra's tomb lies hidden beneath the ancient city of Taposiris Magna. Founded in 280 BCE, Taposiris Magna was a bustling metropolis on Egypt's northern coast, a hub of trade and industry where tens of thousands of people lived and worked. Dr. Martinez's intuition appears to be paying off. She and her team of archaeologists have unearthed a secret underground tunnel near Alexandria, stretching nearly a mile in length, approximately 1.3 kilometers. This remarkable tunnel was carved into the bedrock beneath the temple of Taposiris Magna. Further excavations have yielded a wealth of tantalizing clues, suggesting that Cleopatra's tomb lies deep within this subterranean passage. It's even possible that she rests there alongside her beloved Roman commander, Mark Antony. Ancient accounts tell of their passionate love and their united defiance against the Roman Senate, which branded Antony a traitor. The task ahead is fraught with peril. Over millennia, Taposiris Magna has been ravaged by natural disasters. Earthquakes and floods have repeatedly struck the region, devastating the city and potentially inundating its underground tunnels. Yet, archaeologists remain hopeful that Cleopatra's tomb has remained undisturbed, safeguarding invaluable treasures and records that shed light on the royal life of ancient Egypt during the reign of its final dynasty. The excavation may require venturing into flooded, mud-filled chambers, demanding considerable time and resources. But archaeologists are convinced that the potential rewards justify the effort. While it's premature to declare that Cleopatra has indeed been found, numerous discoveries within the tunnel lend credence to this theory. These include clay pots, dozens of coins bearing the likenesses of Cleopatra and Alexander the Great, and even a bust believed to depict the Egyptian queen herself. Even today, Cleopatra remains one of the most celebrated figures in Egyptian history, rivaling the fame of Ramses III and Tutankhamun. She has inspired countless films, paintings, and books, captivating imaginations across the globe. But what accounts for her enduring appeal? Cleopatra was renowned for her multifaceted nature. She was a brilliant and astute ruler who skillfully guided Egypt through turbulent times, transforming it into a prosperous power. Medieval Arabic texts portray her as a scholar well-versed in chemistry, mathematics, and philosophy, even suggesting that she authored several scientific works. She was a polyglot, fluent in multiple languages, and possessed exceptional diplomatic skills. However, she was also shrouded in legend, often depicted as a femme fatale who drove men to distraction. Yet, there's scant evidence to support the notion that she possessed unparalleled beauty. The image of a stunning seductress was largely crafted by Hollywood in its portrayals of Cleopatra, casting glamorous actresses in the role. Furthermore, Octavian, the Roman emperor and adopted son of Julius Caesar, deliberately cultivated the image of Cleopatra as a treacherous temptress, fueled by his animosity towards her. Despite being born in Egypt, Cleopatra was not of Egyptian descent. Her ancestors were Greek, including one of Alexander the Great's generals. Nevertheless, the Egyptian people embraced her as their own. She learned their language, showed deep respect for their traditions, and immersed herself in their history, mentality, and customs. She revitalized the Egyptian economy and elevated its status as a global power. Much of this success can be attributed to her cunning and charisma. She reveled in theatrical performances and extravagant celebrations, always knowing how to captivate her audience and stage a spectacle. But beneath the dazzling facade of a luxury-loving queen lay an intelligent and calculating ruler. Ancient Egypt was a land of immense wealth and splendor, and Cleopatra dedicated herself to augmenting its riches and solidifying its position on the world stage. Imagine a world stage millennia ago. We find ourselves in ancient Egypt, where Cleopatra, a queen of immense power and cunning, navigates a treacherous political landscape. Her story is one of ambition, seduction, and ultimately tragedy. In the cutthroat international arena of the time, Cleopatra found herself in direct conflict with her own brother, Ptolemy XIII. Knowing she couldn't overpower him through brute force, she hatched a daring plan to win the favor of the most powerful man in the world, Julius Caesar. The Roman emperor arrived in Alexandria, eager to meet the legendary queen. But Ptolemy, aware of Cleopatra's intentions, was determined to prevent their encounter. Cleopatra, never one to be easily deterred, devised a cunning strategy. Instead of a grand, ostentatious arrival that would surely be intercepted, she opted for stealth. She had herself wrapped in a carpet, or perhaps a linen bag, depending on the account, and smuggled into Caesar's private chambers. The emperor's servants, unsuspecting, carried the unusual gift directly to him. Picture the scene. Caesar, in his private quarters, is presented with a rolled-up carpet. As it unfurls, Cleopatra emerges, radiant and determined. Her beauty and unwavering resolve captivated the Roman emperor. From that moment on, they were allies, and more than that, lovers. Later, Cleopatra sought to impress another influential Roman, Mark Antony. For this encounter, she orchestrated a spectacle of unparalleled grandeur. She arrived to meet Antony aboard a golden barge, its purple sails billowing in the wind, propelled by silver oars. Cleopatra herself was dressed as Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, seated beneath a magnificent canopy. Her servants, costumed as cupids, fanned her and burned incense, filling the air with exotic aromas. This wasn't mere extravagance, it was a calculated move. Cleopatra knew that Antony revered Greek mythology and saw himself as the embodiment of Dionysus. The queen's theatrical display was designed to appeal directly to his vanity and sense of self-importance. And it worked. Antony was utterly captivated. He was so smitten with this extraordinary woman that he eventually married her. Cleopatra, through her charm and political acumen, secured her crown, strengthened her alliance with Rome, and bore Antony 3 children. In Egypt, they lived a life of lavish parties and unparalleled wealth and power. However, this scandalous relationship between a high-ranking Roman official and the Egyptian queen sent shockwaves through Rome. Octavian, Antony's primary rival for power, seized the opportunity to undermine his competitor. He launched a propaganda campaign, painting Cleopatra as an insidious seductress who had bewitched Antony. He accused Antony of succumbing to her charms, of neglecting his duties for the sake of an Egyptian queen. The Roman Senate, swayed by Octavian's propaganda, declared Cleopatra an enemy of the state. In 31 BCE, the conflict reached its climax. Antony's navy clashed with Octavian's fleet in a decisive naval battle. Octavian's forces emerged victorious, forcing Antony to flee to Egypt with Cleopatra. According to historical accounts, Antony and Cleopatra sought refuge near Alexandria, pursued relentlessly by the Romans. They hid within one of Cleopatra's palaces, awaiting their inevitable end. Legend has it that Cleopatra, a master of poisons, chose her own method of death. Some say she provoked a venomous snake, a viper, or an Egyptian cobra to bite her. Others claim she pricked herself with a poison needle. There's even a theory that Cleopatra carried a hidden ampule of poison in her hairbrush, using it to soak the needle when cornered. The truth remains shrouded in mystery. Scientists continue to search for answers, hoping that the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb will shed light on her tragic fate. She is remembered as the last ruler of Egypt, a queen who defied expectations and left an indelible mark on history. After Cleopatra's death, Octavian plundered her palaces and temples, returning to Rome as a triumphant emperor. He ruled successfully, expanding the empire's borders until his death at the age of 75. World history would undoubtedly be vastly different if Cleopatra and Mark Antony had prevailed in that fateful naval battle. Consider this. More time separates Cleopatra's reign from Neil Armstrong's moon landing than separates her from the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Armstrong's historic step onto the lunar surface occurred in 1969 AD, 38 years after Cleopatra's birth. The construction of the Great Pyramid, on the other hand, took place around 2560 BCE. It's staggering to contemplate the immense sweep of ancient Egyptian history. Cleopatra is closer to us in time than she was to the builders of the pyramids. Now, imagine a different scenario, a modern-day escape. "Can you drive faster, please?" You ask the taxi driver, a knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach. You arrive at the airport, practically leaping from the cab, grabbing your bags from the trunk, and rushing towards the terminal. A cold sweat breaks out as you navigate the crowded building, bumping into people, offering hasty apologies with each step. Finally, you're on board the plane. A few hours later, you arrive at your destination. You head straight from the airport to the yacht awaiting you in the harbor. Only as you watch the shoreline recede, the land shrinking into the distance, does a sense of calm finally wash over you. Your Bahamas vacation has begun. You lie back, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. The gentle rocking of the yacht eventually lulls you to sleep. You're not sure how long you've been out, but the sun is now beginning its descent, painting the sky in fiery hues. You admire the magnificent red sunset, but after a moment, a chilling realization dawns. You can no longer see the shore. You scramble across the deck, frantically scanning the horizon. The endless ocean stretches out in every direction. Trying to reassure yourself, you remember your navigational skills and head to the bridge. You glance at the compass, and your blood runs cold. The needle is spinning wildly, erratically. The Bahamas, the Atlantic Ocean, the compass. Wait a minute. Oh no. You've inadvertently sailed into the Bermuda Triangle. You've heard the countless stories, the legends of sea monsters, extraterrestrial bases, time loops, and the lost city of Atlantis. What awaits you in this infamous stretch of ocean? Let's journey into the realm of speculation, where we attempt to unravel the enigmas surrounding the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Imagine a scenario. Your compass spins wildly, GPS fails, and your phone's internet connection vanishes. All electronic devices cease to function, and the yacht's engine stubbornly refuses to start, trapping you within this mysterious zone. Does this truly occur within the Bermuda Triangle? Consider this. One of the world's busiest shipping lanes traverses the Bermuda Triangle. Countless vessels navigate these waters annually, yet since the 19th century, only around 50 ships have vanished. There exist other regions on our planet where a significantly greater number of ships have met their demise. Furthermore, if the Bermuda Triangle posed a genuine navigational hazard, ships would undoubtedly avoid it altogether. Perhaps in our imagined scenario, the compass malfunctioned due to a now debunked theory, the convergence of true north and magnetic north within the triangle. In such a situation, a compass would indeed behave erratically. However, the magnetic North Pole is in constant motion, having long since shifted far beyond the boundaries of the triangle. So, navigation is fine. The electronics are functional. But you forgot to turn off the engine and the fuel has run out. You radio for help, and rescuers assure you they're on their way. Suddenly, a deep, resonant hum emanates from the ocean depths. Twilight descends, and an intense glow pierces the water's surface. Just a few feet from your yacht, a colossal beam of orange light erupts skyward. Another beam shoots out from the opposite side of the vessel. The starry canvas above is now obscured by ominous clouds. It appears as though a gigantic blaster is unleashing plasma columns into the heavens. A new circle of light materializes around your yacht, growing ever brighter until the energy surge shatters your ship into pieces. Adrift in the water, clad in a life jacket, you scream as a blinding light forms directly beneath you. Of course, this is pure fantasy. One prevalent theory posits that the Bermuda Triangle was once the site of the lost city of Atlantis. Its inhabitants possessed unparalleled technology, including incredibly powerful energy crystals. These crystals generated and distributed energy throughout Atlantis. Though the city now lies submerged, the crystals continue to function, emitting energy rays from the ocean floor. This legend gained traction in the mid-20th century, sparking countless other myths surrounding the Bermuda Triangle. Now, let's return to our more grounded scenario. You're in the cabin, awaiting rescue, as your yacht rocks violently in the gathering storm. Peering out the window, you try to assess the severity of the situation, but visibility is limited. Something dark and viscous clings to the glass, moving ominously. It's a massive tentacle. They're everywhere, enveloping the yacht from all sides. You hear the groaning and splintering of the ship's timbers. Rushing onto the deck, you witness a colossal squid emerging from the turbulent waters. Its tentacles wrap around the yacht, dragging it downwards. Paralyzed by fear, you can only watch. Again, this is not reality. While giant squids do exist, they inhabit all the world's oceans and lack the ability to sink large vessels. There's no evidence to support the existence of the Kraken or similar mythical monsters lurking within the depths of the Bermuda Triangle. Looking towards the horizon, you spot a ship. Finally, your rescuers. You settle onto the deck, grab a soda, and patiently await their arrival. But something seems off. Their ship is moving incredibly slowly. As it draws nearer, you realize it's made of wood, adorned with black sails. Shouts and cheers reach your ears. Pirates! Armed with eye patches, sabers, and parrots, they hurl ropes onto the deck of your yacht. No historical accounts place pirates from centuries past within the Bermuda Triangle, nor does the Flying Dutchman cause ships to vanish here. Another popular theory suggests the existence of a time portal within the triangle, transporting vessels to distant eras. Thankfully, these are all just myths. Back to reality. You're still waiting for rescue, but a storm is indeed brewing. Towering waves buffet the ship. You realize that rescuers won't reach you in this weather, so you'll have to endure until morning. Donning a life jacket, you grip the steering wheel tightly. The storm doesn't seem too severe, but suddenly, to the right of the yacht, you spot a monstrous wave. It's the size of a 10-story building. The wave crashes down with incredible speed, capsizing your ship like a mere toy. The impact is so forceful that the yacht rolls over twice before righting itself. The colossal wave dissipates as quickly as it appeared. A moment later, a brilliant light pierces through the clouds. It's not the sun, but a glowing disc-shaped object descending towards your yacht. The gravity around you shifts, and your ship slowly ascends into the air. A deafening howl fills your ears. The glowing disc opens, and you find yourself enveloped in a black void. This, too, is a legend. Spaceships from other galaxies do not abduct ships in the Bermuda Triangle. Imagine, if you will, battling the elements in the infamous Bermuda Triangle. You're clinging to the deck of your yacht, a monstrous storm raging around you. A colossal wave, a true rogue, slams into the vessel. These aren't your garden variety swells. This phenomenon, known as rogue waves, is observed across the globe. And they don't just appear during storms. Picture this: a serene, calm sea, suddenly disrupted by a towering wall of water. Even today, scientists grapple with the origins of these anomalies. The prevailing theory suggests a transfer of kinetic energy between waves, culminating in a single massive wave that unleashes its power before vanishing as quickly as it appeared. While there's no concrete evidence of rogue waves occurring more frequently in the Bermuda Triangle, the region's susceptibility to intense storms and hurricanes creates the perfect breeding ground for these aquatic behemoths. The storm begins to subside. Sunlight pierces through the clouds, and the sound of water lapping against the hull replaces the roar of the tempest. But something's amiss. The ocean's surface is behaving erratically, as if your yacht is trapped in a gigantic cauldron of boiling soup. The violent churning throws the ship around relentlessly. A particularly forceful surge sends you tumbling overboard. Hold on, though. Let's consider another theory, a more outlandish one. Some speculate that vast methane deposits lie beneath the Bermuda Triangle. These deposits occasionally release massive bubbles that foam the sea's surface, creating instability. While methane release is a real phenomenon, studies haven't found unusual concentrations in the Bermuda Triangle. You've weathered nearly 24 hours in this legendary enigmatic location and, against all odds, survived. A rescue ship appears on the horizon. As the crew prepares to refuel your yacht, a colossal fin, the size of a sailboat, breaks the surface. A monstrous shark, jaws agape, filled with rows upon rows of teeth the size of your hand, launches itself from the water. It's a megalodon, a prehistoric predator of immense power. The beast seizes your yacht, dragging it into the depths. Okay, let's be honest, that's pushing it. There isn't any credible myth about megalodons, Carcharical's megalodon, lurking in the Bermuda Triangle. Now, let's shift our focus to another iconic location, the Sahara Desert. We all know it, right? The world's largest hot desert, a seemingly endless ocean of sand, dwarfing even the contiguous United States in size. But have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried beneath those shifting dunes? To uncover the truth, we must journey back thousands of years. Imagine, 6,000 years ago, the Sahara wasn't a desert at all. It was a verdant grassland. Humans thrived here, cultivating the land. Northern Africa was a tapestry of green, blessed with ample rainfall, teeming with lakes, rivers, and lush pastures. Even forests flourished, a stark contrast to the arid landscape we know today. Then, the climate began to change. The region grew increasingly dry, and vegetation withered. The wind took over, stripping away the fine sediment, no longer anchored by plant roots. Over millennia, this relentless process transformed the Sahara into the iconic landscape of sand and rock stretching to the horizon. But here's a surprise. Sand only accounts for about a quarter of the Sahara's surface. The desert boasts a diverse array of features, including gravel plains, salt flats, and towering plateaus. This begs the question, how do we truly define a desert? For geologists, it boils down to one crucial factor: precipitation. If an area receives minimal rainfall, it's classified as a desert. The Sahara certainly fits this description, with an average annual rainfall of a mere 3 inches. Compare that to New York City's nearly 45 inches per year. Based on precipitation, the Sahara isn't even the largest desert in the world. That title belongs to Antarctica, followed by the Arctic. These polar deserts dwarf the Sahara by millions of square miles. It might seem counterintuitive, but there are different types of deserts. Antarctica and the Arctic are polar deserts, while the Sahara is a subtropical desert. The temperature differences are staggering. In Antarctica's interior, temperatures can plummet to a bone-chilling 76 degrees. In contrast, the Sahara's highest recorded temperature is a scorching 136 degrees. But the Sahara has a cooler side. At night, temperatures can drop to the average yearly temperature of Denmark. This extreme temperature fluctuation makes choosing the right attire a challenge for any Saharan adventurer. And what about the sand itself? How deep does it go? The depth varies, ranging from 70 to 140 feet. That's not as deep as you might think. If you place the Statue of Liberty in a tall dune, half of it would still be visible. The Sahara's vast sand deposits were created by aeolian processes, a term derived from the Greek god of wind, Aeolus.